Hello everyone and welcome to round 2 coverage of the 2023 Dynamic Disc Tournament Capital Open. We're back at Rose Hill for round 2 and we got a pretty tight race at the top here with a couple of hot shooters coming up from the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I'm Andre, I'm in the booth with Jesse.
Hello.
How's it going?
I am doing real well. We're about to watch some fantastic disc golf.
Yeah, there we go. We're back at Rose Hill for round 2. Lots changed since John Hoax originally designed it. They've had a lot of troubled history with the forest fires and mountain pine beetle and whatnot. And, it used to be 2 courses up here, but, still a great course, a lot of challenging. And who do we got on our card today?
Yeah, this is our current leader, Max Regitnig, sponsored by Ace Runners and Discmania. I almost said Dynamic Discs. He is an 85 overall based on his own self-assessment, leaning on that forehand for some success, which we'll see later. Thomas Gilbert in second, 7 down with Thought Space Athletics and Disc Republic. Obviously, he's really, really known for his power, which he's put himself at a 98, and I think he might be right, because there's probably 2 guys that might throw farther.
Yeah.
They're 99 and 100.
Yeah, there you go.
This is Casey Hanemayer, our hometown boy down from Cranbrook, British Columbia. He's with Gander Disc.vi apparel and Prodigy Discs. He thinks his putting and his forehand are his big skills, and he is not wrong, but a well-rounded player nonetheless. And finally, free agent, Mitch McMann. He is currently residing in Edmonton, but he has spent a lot of time in Kamloops and his parents live there. He's got a lot of experience out here at Rose Hill, and I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, me too. Let's take a look at our scoreboard here. Obviously, there are some competitors already out in the field, but we do have Jeremy is staying at even on the card above, and Adam starting with an egg 1. So, it's going to be a tight one here. That's 6 strokes, I guess, from 9th place to first, so tied for 6th.
Yeah, with 2 full rounds to play on courses that should be fairly scoreable, there is definitely a lot of opportunity for shuffle ups.
Yeah,
Max with the 3-stroke lead is probably the most significant we'll see.
Yeah, I think so. Hole 1, par 3, 463 feet. If you didn't see it on round 1, go catch that coverage. There's some OB on the left, hazard on the left, OB on the right. And it's, guys like Thomas and I'm assuming Max can probably get to the basket in 1 off the tee, but most guys will get there in 2.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm not sure what Max is going to end up doing here, but he was thinking power roller, and I know that if he really juices up on that forehand, he can probably get it into the circle. This is looking like neither of those things, unless he's intending to tip those shoulders down. That looks more like a flat backhand.
Yeah, and he's kind of taking that. It was a little bit more overstable than I thought. I remember when I watched this. Oh, just playing with the hazard there. I thought that one was going to carry over, and we obviously chose an overstable disc to crash out to the left.
Yeah, I was really concerned that was going in the hazard. He'll have a similar putt to what Thomas had in round 1. Definitely something that he can make.
Here's Thomas. He's definitely going for it.
Yeah, definitely more angle than round 1.
Losing the disc in the sun, but looks like he'll get that and caught that tree at the end, but he'll have a good look.
Yeah.
I'd say about 50, 60 feet, somewhere around there. Casey.
Expecting to see something similar? No, he's playing the right side, letting it come down.
And that's the safe play, I would say. You're putting your disc over the OB, but it's going to come back in and land in the fairway. So,
Mitch here, maybe not known for having as much power as these guys. We might see him play the safe hyzer, the shorter version of what Casey just threw. That might be a bit too safe.
He needs some help. Looks like that's going into that hazard area. Unfortunately, but he'll have a look from there.
Yeah, the approach from there shouldn't be too bad. Not the hardest place to save par from. I guess he looks like he's lining up the flat shot, but I would be thinking the outside hyzer would be a little safer. Well, I'll put my foot in my mouth because you couldn't throw it much better.
That was so close.
Almost ringing it up there.
Yeah. Getting a smile and the wave to the crowd. Here's Max.
Maybe just putting a lot of flex on that one to keep it away from going down the hill.
Yeah. Casey with the circle 2 look.
Ooh.
Puts a little floater in there. And good safe bid.
Yeah, very good, very safe.
Here's Thomas. Looks like he's definitely going for this one.
This might be the first camera angle we've had that shows the drop off behind the basket properly. This is what these guys are trying to contend with when they're putting from the left side. Thomas needs to keep his speed in check, but still give it enough to get in.
And he doesn't quite get it. That's that danger. You just mentioned it.
But I think he got sage saved.
Yeah.
Sage.
And you can see there that it does kind of stop, but, behind Thomas to the right, it does get a little bit deeper there.
Yeah, maybe the log is what ended up saving him. Maybe not the most comfortable spot to make stance, but happy to not be at the bottom of the hill, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. There you go, making good on the par putt. And you can always kind of count on Thomas giving those comebackers a good run because, it's the beauty of having such a solid putt that he's able to run that first putt and know that he can make that second putt.
Absolutely. Mitch with the unfortunate bogey, but doing everything he can to make it happen from that hazard.
Max and Casey will tap in their pars as well, and we're off to hole 2.
And I suspect we will see hole 2 played a lot more aggressively. No, not aggressively. Cleanly, accurately than round 1.
Yeah. There's another look at that Thomas comeback putt. Here's hole 2. This is what we're talking about. Par 3, 258. This is kind of one of those must-gets on the early portion of this course for sure. A lot of guys will just kind of try to get it up over these trees with a forehand or backhand and land it by the pedestal.
Yeah, I really think the play is to just hit the ground short and skip it into the pyramid.
Yeah.
Use it as a nice little backstop and take your short putt, get out.
And this is, you can see here, it drops off at the backside. So if you are left with a little bit of a long putt and you run that, there's a lot of danger and it drops off and it's OB. So
yeah, there's not a lot of ways to give that a run from, circle 2 short without bringing that OB into play. You'll see a lot of layups on shots that don't go quite right. This looks perfect from Max.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and just a bit short.
A little bit short, but he's gonna have that kind of deathy putt looking at, but he's inside circle. So
yeah, Thomas went OB in round 1. This Firebird skipped a little bit too much for him. Went out the back. We'll see if he can make that correction.
Yeah, and that looks great. Great shot from Thomas. Here's Casey's got a pretty strong forehand, so he's going to be looking at probably a lot of the same.
Yep.
A little bit low.
Surprising to see that miss.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Maybe the most famous sidearm in the country.
Yeah.
And with one of his comfort discs, too. That's his A3. He throws that a lot.
Here's Mitch going with the backhand.
Yeah, I've played with Mitch a few times.
High.
Haven't seen much forehand out of him, so I suspect this is his only play.
Yep.
But yeah, maybe high, nervous or something.
Yeah, maybe.
He's not committing to getting it out wide enough.
Casey with the long look. He's just going to try to put this at the bottom of the steps there.
Yeah, perfect layup.
Mitch doing the same. He's off on the left-hand side and doesn't have to look at the out of bounds. And here's Max with the little tester. He gets that one to go. It's a lot. Actually, that was quite a bit closer than I originally had thought it was going to be. No problem for Max there. Thomas getting his to go as well. A couple birdies for those guys, and they're going to extend their lead on Casey a little bit here.
Yeah, not expecting to see Casey slip up on a stock forehand shot, but anything can happen in a pressure situation. And yeah, mitigating the damage off of the poorer shots, though. No one went OB and no one missed their elevated putts.
Yeah. There's Mitch off the drive again. You can see I got it just a little bit, released a little bit earlier than think he wanted to. So yeah, very excited to see what these guys can do in leading into the rest of the round here. Hole 3, par 4, 497 feet. A lot of these guys should be able to get up over these trees and off. A lot of these guys will take us kind of to the right where the telephone poles are, or the power poles are, and kind of try to get around these trees here, landing on the other side. I don't know anyone that's going to try to throw where the drone's going, because that's a pretty funny shape.
Absolutely. About 60 feet right of where the drone is now is where the perfect shots land. In round 1, we saw Thomas line up like he was going to go for it, and then early releasing it or something. Curious to see if he can make the correction.
And obviously that's the danger there. It doesn't quite show the slope there, but you can see that it does fall off if you don't make it. So.
And Max has thrown this essentially perfectly. A lot of guys throwing a flex or bit of turn to navigate those trees and come in the backside of the power lines. Thomas looks like he's lining up a kind of pure hyzer, though.
And if this one's out early, he's going to be down that hill. But it looks like he's okay. No, that was great.
Yeah, with this kind of overcasty sky, it's kind of hard to track the discs, but...
Well, especially on this hole, the catch cams, you never know really where to go on this one, so...
That's a little bit left, maybe?
Yeah, but, Casey, he's playing where that old pin was, and it shouldn't be too bad. He should have a look into the basket, at least get up and down for his birdie, so...
Mitch also looks like he's lining up more of a hyzer here.
Yeah, that looks like a pretty safe play, what he did there.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone throw it that wide, but there's that little drop in the trees, maybe making it a little easier to get around it.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is he can't quite see the basket. It looks like
that's looking a bit left.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's stuck on the hill, because that could roll 200 feet if it got a really bad angle. Max here, just going to go tactic, hoping to settle it down on the green. And he does.
Oh, a little bit of a roll away. Hopefully that didn't roll too far either.
Mm-hmm. Thomas, jump at hyzer.
Ooh. Good bid. Good bid from Thomas.
Do you think he was trying to give it a chance there?
I think giving it a little bit of a chance, but I don't know. I think when you're that talented, I think that was kind of on purpose.
If he was or he wasn't, I want to believe in my world that he was, and so he was.
All right, there you
go. Makes it more exciting.
Thomas is known for going for those. So. Just catching a little bit of that tree.
It's so hard to keep the pace on that putter to get it to the chains while keeping it underneath that branch.
You can see Max did roll down the hill a little bit. He's putting up at the basket. And he gets that one to drop. Literally drop in.
Literally drops in.
Yeah.
Maybe just getting it up over the branch as well. Finding a spot where it could fall in the basket. Great putt.
Casey getting his birdie as well.
Yep. Drop-ins for Thomas and Casey here.
And obviously Mitch getting his par to fall. And Thomas will drop in his birdie. So all in all, it's a great score for the Scard on this hole. There's another look at the little drop-in from Max. Basically, he almost didn't need the chains there, but let's take a look at our scoreboard through 3 for these guys. Max and Thomas still at the top with shooting neg 2 rounds. Jeremy off to a neg 3 round start. He's a hole ahead of these guys and climbing into that top 3. Casey, Adam, Brian, Jade, Mitch, Eric, and Luke rounding out our top 10.
Yeah, wow. Starting off hot, kind of like I expected to see in round 1.
Yeah.
This more scoreable front 9 getting attacked really well so far.
Yeah, that sort of in that middle top 10 is pretty tight. So hole 4, par 3, 314 feet. Made a little bit easier by taking a couple of trees out at the beginning, but I think the challenge here is not going down the hill on the left-hand side and behind. And obviously, if you take that hyzer on the right-hand side, you're competing with the trees. So
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't see this basket from the tee, so it's really an exercise in speed control, knowing when you need to stop this disc so you don't go long over the hill or, go too short and not give yourself any chance.
Max taking the forehand line here and just dropping it in. It looks like he's inside circle, so.
Yeah, very routine looking shot there.
Yeah. Thomas probably going to look to do the same.
That looks like it might have a... I was expecting a larger skip. He didn't give it a lot of spike to grab up there, but
No,
left it short enough.
Yeah, that was a great spot for Thomas. Good landing. He'll have a drop-in birdie. Making the correction. I think this is the hole that was surprising in round one as well. So
hopefully Casey's in a spot where he can make a comfortable stance to putt because it can get tricky in those trees. Mitch, backhand dominant, going for the hyzer play. That looks like it's short.
yeah, a little bit short. Just outside of circle, and he'll have that tree to contend with, unfortunately. He just wisely pitches up.
Absolutely. See what Max can do with his, 25-footer or so.
Yeah. With the bend, that's what you don't want to do on these, because those can roll down. They catch that edge.
Not such a bad roll. And you know what? Personally, I love the confidence to give it the height when you're looking at death.
Yes.
Makes good on the comebacker as well.
Yeah. Casey, just on the other side of this tree here. Just have no problem with this one.
Casey makes good on his birdie. And if he was out, I suspect the other two will as well.
Yes, should have no problems there. Mitch will drop in his par.
Interested to see how low these guys will go on this front nine today.
Yeah, so far these guys are playing pretty well through four. So
absolutely getting that first round monkey off the back and just ready to throw some birdies down.
Another look at Casey's putt with the Thompson in the background, and hole 5, par 3, 244 feet. A lot of these guys will be taking the forehand line and just crashing it into the sagebrush at the top of the hill. Pretty stock shot for most of these guys.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Mitch's backhand here. If he takes the straight kind of putter shot at it, or if he goes for the wide hyzer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we mentioned, it looks like Thomas is lining up the backhand today.
Interesting. Maybe felt something in the wind. And he does the straight at it shot.
Straight at it, and this is looking pretty good. Maybe a little deep. Catches that sagebrush.
Yeah. 22, 25-footer kind of range.
Yeah.
As long as you get over the sagebrush, but Thomas is not short. If there's anyone that could get away with it, it's probably him. Casey going with that very common forehand.
Yes. Yeah, it's always fun when you have Thomas and Casey on the same card, combined over probably 13 feet.
Yeah. Casey leaving his a little more inside than he wanted, leaving himself about a 43-footer.
Max is obviously lining up that forehand that we mentioned.
Yeah. This is a splice from Max, and yep, it starts doing splice stuff.
It's stable, but looks like he's outside the circle. Love a little bit of a tester putt coming up.
Yeah, it's definitely not a gimme from there. But thankfully, not having to be too worried about putting back at the hillside with so much sage to grab your disc.
Here's Mitch taking the wider angle.
Oh,
hit the wire.
Catches some power line. Maybe stops him from coming in all the way, but still finds the circle.
Yep. Here's Max's putt. I'm going to say about 43 feet. Just a little bit off on that one. You can kind of see it in the background. That's a great putt from Casey.
Absolutely.
Gets the birdie to drop. I was going to say you can kind of see it's a little misty in the background. It's a very humid day. kind of rained off and on in the morning, and then kind of lightened up, but definitely still a lot of moisture in the air.
Yeah, it was a very sticky day. Oh, and Mitch catches that band.
That's
again.
unfortunate.
I like the confidence of a miss that hits the band more than any other, but it's a miss nonetheless. He's going to wish he had that one back.
See if Thomas can make good on his. Yeah, dude, he just put that one too hard, I think.
And that's straight off the pole and straight out. And I was speaking with another player, Noah Higgins, that you might have heard of, and I heard he had 4 or so in one round, just firm putting dead on the pole and not enough chains to quite stop it coming straight back out.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of briefly touched on this in round 1. It's just one of those things where, different baskets catch differently, and these ones, you got to putt just a little bit softer on these ones.
Yeah, no, it's a skill. And if you were growing up playing this game, these were heavy chain baskets. Shout out to all my guys that putt on the Mach 2s and things like that.
Yeah.
I think, these like Prodigy T1s, Mach X types, heavy chain baskets we're seeing on tour really catch these super hard putts.
Yeah.
But go back 10 years and suddenly it's not quite the same case.
Yeah. That was a great putt from Casey that you saw on the replay. But we are on to hole 6. It's a par 4, 508 feet. It's, if you can just get to the top of the hill, maybe just either before these logs or just beyond them, you're looking pretty good. Or if you can put it out wider to the right, give yourself a good look at the basket. Thomas, some of these longer throwers, they might try to go over the top on the left to get there in one.
Yeah, I think Casey, Thomas, and Max all could give this a good attempt at eagle. Not super sure about Mitch, but not... Ooh.
This is a little low from Casey, but he gets up over that hill, so...
Yeah, he's fine. Like you hear him say, not in the trees. Still a very good opportunity for birdie from there, but he definitely would have liked to have that one another, 10 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Get that shape back in. That's the
Thomas.
one. I'm telling you right now, that's the one.
Looking really good.
Coming back in towards the pin.
That's beautiful. So you can see he's just outside the circle. He'll have like probably a 40-footer look for eagle there.
And I think Max can pull off the same.
This is looking pretty good as well.
Didn't get the right movement, maybe coming in a bit early, but great skip.
Great skip into the circle. He's well in the circle on that one.
20 some odd feet for an eagle. Take that all day. And Mitch, maybe trying to get as much distance as he can with that flex type shape, but just not enough height to get it to come back, or maybe a little too much angle.
Moving the crowd a little bit, but he'll be all right from there. Here's Casey. He's out, and he's as you can see, he's at the top of the hill here, playing much differently than it did in round 1, and I think that's just due to the wind direction. I would guess.
Mm-hmm. You saw a little bit of breezy action in round 1 still, and that's a well thrown approach from Casey. I believe that was his distortion.
Here's Mitch looking at his approach. He's just gonna put that in the circle.
Just behind that tree, but if he can navigate that, he should have a pretty straightforward putt.
Thomas for eagle. And that was so close.
And I think that's the first low putt we've seen out of Thomas.
Yeah.
Maybe thinking about how awesome his eagle would be instead of making sure that one hit the chains.
Yeah. Hey, it's funny. I wonder because, going back to hole 5, he put it a little bit harder. I wonder if he just took a little bit too much off to make the correction and just didn't quite get the height on that one.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Mitch making good on his birdie. It's a well-thrown putt.
Max for the eagle.
Boom.
Nice work. Stretching that lead out to 4 strokes. Or sorry, it'll be 3 strokes because Thomas will tap in his birdie. So
Casey gets his, and we are 5 down in a group of 4.
there you go.
That is a well-played hole of disc golf.
Not too bad. Yeah, don't know. This is It's already shaping up to be a pretty good round. Max getting a stroke back and putting that lead back to 3 strokes. So it's a great eagle from Max.
Yeah, maybe showing some of that tour experience is that we could see this as a Pro Tour par 3 somewhere. Having to, show up and execute those types of shots every weekend definitely helps prepare you when the local golfers probably don't have that so much.
Yeah, and so through 6 holes here with the rounds, Max and Thomas both shooting neg 4. Jeremy's shooting a neg 5 currently. Max is at the top, a neg 14 total, and Thomas neg 11, Jeremy, Casey neg 10. We got Adam, Brian neg 7, and then a host of people at neg 6. So pretty tight in that midfield. Hole 7, par 3, 424 foot. You got a lot of these guys are just going to try to get this up and over the trees on the right-hand side and try to have it crash near the basket. I would say the challenge maybe on this one is kind of the green area because it is a little bit of an elevated basket and, sagebrush and different elevations, you got to know where you're landing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like a 2-stage challenge off the tee. The first challenge is navigating all those trees with enough distance to get yourself in contention at all. And then as you're more comfortable throwing accurately at those distances, getting it tighter and tighter to this elevated basket so you can make good on that birdie.
Mm-hmm. Max up here first after that eagle on hole 6.
I know Max was saying that he had to disc down because he was throwing long on this one. And he's done so again, I believe.
Making the cameraman turn around.
That might have been a PD.
Yeah. See if Casey can make the correction. This has got to miss that tree.
Ooh, and he catches the tree, and that's what I was talking about. Navigating those trees is the first obstacle and the most important one. Fine-tuning it after.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Casey can do that 9 times out of 10, but just hanging on to it a bit too long on this tee shot.
See Thomas here. Putting that one up and over.
Yeah, using all of his power to get it over, taking those trees out altogether.
Getting something stable, and it just crashes down real nicely, and he'll have a good look for a birdie there.
Yeah, that's almost as well as you could play that hole ever.
Yeah. See what Mitch can do here?
I think he can get it there, but I don't know if he can get it there and get over the trees. So he might have to take a little more artistic line. Oh, yeah, and he's just pulled it over a little bit.
Got over on that one, and unfortunately that near the tee box of hole 8, so... This is a challenging look.
This is,
Up and over.
Little thumber action.
A good recovery. He'll still have a putt from there, though.
Looking for some ground play and doesn't get it, though. I think you get a little skip and you're getting a tap, and now he's got some meat left on the bone.
Yeah. That's a pretty easy upshot from Casey there. He'll save his par.
Max from deep, mate, with that much jump, probably close to 50 plus.
Oh, it's to pull the right line, just not quite the height.
Yeah, it's a tough one. See what Mitch can do. Oh,
yeah, he thought he had it too.
So did I. The confidence there,
so
and the height,
too.
the pace, everything.
Yeah, not quite. That's the challenge of this elevated basket, and it's interesting because off the tee it doesn't look like it's elevated, but because of the way the green shapes, it dips down, and that causes these weird, funky elevations, and it can really mess with your putt, as you saw from Thomas there.
Yeah, but aggressive spin type putters need to calm down on this one because it can produce pretty bad comeback putts.
Mm-hmm.
But softer pitch putters, it's not so high that those players would have bigger issues. Mitch in for his bogey.
Yeah. Casey should have his par wrapped up here. Same with Max. Yeah, that's it's funny. I thought that hole would play a little bit easier than it did. You especially after the last hole. So, you go from a really well shot hole to +1 on the card. So
I think that's a very good pro par 3, maybe an appropriate par 3 challenge for that group where, any of them can birdie it, but it's not a given.
Yeah. Hole 8, par 3, 285 feet. Just get it over the top of the trees here. You can forehand it, or you can forehand it and hyzer, have a crash into the circle, or you can try to lace one up the middle with a bit of a flexy backhand.
Yeah, I suspect we'll see Mitch take the backhand and the rest go for the forehand.
Your suspicions are so far correct.
Max with the splice high, trying to take all the trees out of the play, and throws it very well.
Yeah, and this is one of those, it's an interesting play because, it's 285 feet and, he's throwing a overstable driver essentially. When you see 285 feet, a lot of people think, oh, that's putter range. But, when you look at these pros, the way that they play these and just having those overstable drivers crash where they want to, it's, that just kind of goes to show that disc selection plays a huge role at this level.
Absolutely. And Thomas here with a Firebird, maybe the least stable of the discs thrown so far.
There you go.
But thrown just as well.
There are 3 beautifully shot discs, and let's see if Mitch can do the same. As you said, he's doing that sort of backhand with something that's overstable as well.
I like the overstable flex, but you need to commit because if it comes out early, those small trees are some of the worst jail on the entire property.
Yes. Yeah, and you can kind of tell he got a little more height and not quite the speed, but he does have a putt here. And just over the basket.
Online, but a little eager there.
And Thomas doesn't like it.
And he's had some bad luck on the basket, but I think that's just a low missed putt.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go back, shout out to the Northern Flights podcast. It's a podcast that Park Pro runs. We had Thomas on, and he was talking about these putts, and these are the ones that he wants back. He said his putting on this weekend just wasn't quite there. So, obviously that's one of those putts right there that, he just wishes he had those back.
Yeah, and something that in practice he probably makes at a 95+%.
Yeah. Max making good on his birdie.
Extending his lead over Thomas, and Casey now catching up with Thomas.
Yeah, Casey and Thomas tied at neg 11, Max neg 15. So that's a par that Thomas wants to be a birdie.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the holes on the course where you're kind of expecting that birdie to come.
Yeah, you really are, yeah.
You can take all the trees out of it with the height like you saw on those forehands, and it's really how well you can throw a 250-foot sidearm hyzer.
Hole 9, it's a par 4, 373 feet. This one's an interesting hole. It's I think it's one of my favorites just as far as how much comes into play, because all you have to really do to guarantee a birdie is land it kind of in front of these logs and then just chip it up into the green and easy birdie. But if you are eager, you can go for the eagle, and 373, it's not that far. So
oh, absolutely not. Yeah, the prime layup distance is probably only about 280, 290 feet. And you can all but guarantee yourself a birdie there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe one of the challenges with going for it, or whether you want to or not, is that it plays as hazard. So if you're off your line by a lot, then you're leaving quite a bit, and you're taking the stroke. So
Max going for it, and I think we'll see maybe Mitch will lay up. But yeah, at 373, the danger is hazard and not OB. So even if you miss the island in its entirety, you still have a very, very routine layup for par. I don't see many reasons for them not to be going for this eagle.
And there you see Casey going for it, and he's in the bullseye nearly. So
Thomas probably looking to correct over yesterday's round. He had thrown his 2 straight, and it went out the back by almost 100 feet.
And then he gets to skip off that little path that leads into the circle 1.
Mitch going the back end. There is a gap if you want to go for it on the right side, but it looks like, overstable disc, smart layup. He's gone around the trees as wide as he can. That gives him almost no obstacle in this approach. That's as good as you can throw the layup.
As you can see, just, open air. That's exactly what you want. And I'm sure a lot of the field played it this way, probably.
Yeah, if you don't have the power to go for it confidently, it's a very routine birdie. You can see Mitch playing it absolutely perfectly in that layup play.
Here's Thomas for his eagle. And he knew it. He knew it right out of his hand.
Just high left. Those don't go in on any basket. And you can see the frustration mounting.
Max doesn't get his to fall either. He had the opportunity to take another stroke on Thomas.
Yeah, that's one he's going to want back as well. Casey going to card the lone eagle here.
Yeah, and momentarily taking a 2-stroke lead on Gilbert. Obviously, Gilbert still has to put in his birdie. Max puts in his, and Mitch puts in his birdie as well. Yeah, it's just, unfortunately, Thomas losing some strokes on the putting green, it seems. So,
yeah, typically a very good putter, very aggressive putter.
Let's take another look at that drive from Casey. Just a beautiful forehand shape. Landing it perfectly in the middle and gets the little bounce. And that's exactly how you got to play that hole.
Yeah, perfectly thrown.
Let's take a look at our scoreboard. We're through 9 holes. Max sitting up on the top, neg 16. Casey at neg 13. Thomas, neg 12. Jeremy jumping up to neg 10. Adam and Jade, neg 9. Luke Levesque, neg 8. Ben, Brian Freeze, -7. Miguel jumping on the top 10, neg 6. So,
yeah, a very solid top 10. We've talked about most of these guys. Brian Freeze, another guy who's been around. He is kind of the top dog in Manitoba. He was the PDJ Rookie of the Year, and he just finished a long stint with Dynamic Discs, looking to maybe prove he's got the stuff.
Yeah. That's it for round 2 front 9 action. Catch us on the back. I'm Andre.
And I'm Jesse.
We'll, catch you in a bit.
Bye.